And we're live with this bike life. PJ in the background, but nobody actually here.
Pete.
Really, that's a pretty good intro.
That's a horrible
Probably
intro.
A little bit more than 3 minutes, but that's the live segment of this bike and life.
Right, exactly.
I'm Caleb with Chain Monster. This is
Leroy with Leroy's Bike Works.
And as we've said before, we like just talking about things we're passionate about. For me, it's disc golf. For Leroy, it's mountain biking, just everything biking, right?
Everything.
It's got 2 wheels, sometimes 3.
Sometimes 3.
This man's got the plan.
I had a 4-wheel one.
Sounds like a car.
It's for a guy that was he's a wounded vet.
Oh, okay.
So worked with a
company. Is it one of those like the hand crank style ones?
Yeah.
I've seen those.
Yep. Like independent suspension.
Yeah, that would crash so fast. It's like it's got 4 wheels. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Still gonna roll it.
Like lean too hard. Yeah,
it's been a week, and now it's after Christmas. We survived.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Yeah, how'd that go for you?
Went good. Courtney and I went on a little mini vacation. Take her out. She's been working her butt off to help and support, and took her to the beach. I'm not a big beach fan. She's a beach fan.
Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
And whatnot.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, ours was. We had a lot of parties and stuff, but it was pretty good. How about you, PJ?
Everything was great.
Everything was great. He said.
Everything was awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Yep. No, before we get in
Part
trouble.
of a team.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, we're in trouble now for that song. So.
Yeah, no, we didn't sing all of it. We changed it enough.
You're allowed less than 5 seconds.
And some of us are tone deaf, so it's not actually the original version. If you're watching, please like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Follow Leroy, Instagram, Facebook. You got a Twitter?
No, not an X guy.
Yeah, not a.
Not
you
an
don't want
X.
a flamethrower? I hear he's giving them away.
It'd be fun to play with.
That'll get rid of your rat problem.
Would get rid of my rat problem.
But
can I invite your brother over?
Yeah, between the pellet gun and the flamethrower, I mean, what could go wrong in your townhome?
Mica cabinets all gone.
So, with that being said, we're going to jump into a subject that I know pretty much nothing about other than, it's like
our
riding
friendship.
a bike. That phrase, that's about the only thing I know. I know how to ride a bike. So for everybody that starts to comment, Caleb can't ride a bike, uncoordinated, this and that, it's not true. I can.
There'll be video proof soon enough.
There will be video proof.
Yep.
We're going to jump into the bike segment of this bike life, and we're going to start actually with just kind of a little bit of Leroy's backstory in the biking world in general.
Okay. Yeah, so my backstory of how I got into this crazy world of bicycling, every one of us grew up with a bike. Every one of us thought we were like the next big kid on, you probably don't remember the movie Rad, yes. Thinking we're
PJ was talking about it before.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
before my time.
Thinking we're going to be the next crew, jumping out of hell track, I was not that kid. So, but really, in high school, I had my first knee surgery and got into biking then because of rehab.
Like just biking like most kids do biking, like you just have whatever random bike you got from whatever store.
Whatever random bike I got from my father, who probably still reminds me that I broke every bike that he ever bought. So, but
whatever jump you could do, whatever trail you could ride down the street to the store, whatever.
Right, and I grew up in a small town, so that's how that was. Under the age of 16, that was your mode of transportation. So,
right.
So, but when I graduated, moved down to Miami, I was going to school, not in the bicycle shop yet. Most I knew about bikes is what I broke when I was a kid, and what I little knew. So I was working in the restaurant business, and I got hired by this lady to help her run this gigantic bike shop because she needed help with her inventory system and heard I was a computer geek and got hired by her to sit in a room to find missing inventory, and originally was only going to be hired for like a month. Ended up working there for like a year and a half, and really kind of that's where my love of...
Well, not to sidetrack you too hard, Because you went to culinary school too, right?
No. So when I graduated high school, before I graduated high school, I had culinary art background.
Okay.
And I was going to go to culinary art school and canceled that like 2 weeks before graduation.
Gotcha. Okay.
To change my degree to special ed education.
Okay.
Why I hang out with all you guys.
Yeah.
So, but
like that's not the first time
I've used that comment.
Joke.
Yeah. No.
But some of us can.
You've
count.
met my staff. But I started working for her and learning about the bike business, and Mary Jane that owns that place learned a lot from her about business side of bike world, but not really the bike world
mechanic
in a sense.
Side.
Yeah, mechanic side, but like how to operate a business. I mean, she's a family-run business from back in the day. Got into it there, moved back home after a little bit of college, back up to Citrus County, worked for a small mom and pop shop there. Got into Lakeland working for a family shop here for almost 8 years.
Are they still in business?
Yeah, still in business.
Okay.
Bent's family. Great family. Worked for them for 7.5 years. Just had an opportunity to step outside and do what I feel a bike shop should be, which has kind of turned into how we've now this like community project. Like, just working with the community, being part of the community. And it's kind of how it's involved in disc golf too. Yeah,
because the Ridge Riders, which is a local bike club, they're pretty involved in the shop stuff as well.
They're involved here. Gone Riding, which is one of the big race promoters that I'm sure in other segments we'll bring up and stuff like that. So that's how I really kind of got, I kind of got a crash course in the bike world. Started teaching, kind of stayed in the bike shop a little bit just because, get the discount, But then when I moved to Lakeland, had a little bit of a change of path and started working full time for a shop and managing it. And
were you big into, because now you run a business and multifaceted in a lot of different things, so you don't get to ride as much and race as much and everything as you used to. Were you big into racing back then?
Yeah. When I started at Bent's, I'd already started dabbling a little bit in racing, and my racing that I prefer is more of that. I'd say the tougher stuff, like the endurance side. Like if I'm going to be out there, I want to go do a 30 to 60 mile ride. The shorter races, like what you see, like, Aaron or Mike and some of the guys around the shop and local people, they're like 14, 21 mile, which is great.
That's still too far.
It's still
too far.
Right. But for me, where I know what I'm built as, I know I'm a bigger guy. I'm not fast and agile like a Ferrari. I'm like the Mack truck. I'll build up that speed and momentum and get it going. So, and I said, here you go. I was like, all right.
Brakes don't work downhill.
No, exactly. No.
6% grade.
18,
better downshift.
18%. But that's really where my passion. I like the push, the challenge side of it, and now getting tied in with a lot of my friends with this gravel road side, which is something we'll tackle and other stuff. But I work with a group and some friends of mine to help them accomplish, and they hire me to go around the United States. And this summer, I'm now going possibly to Iceland to actually go crew at a race and what that means.
Yeah. I remember you talking about that. You've gone, like people hire you essentially to go. I know you've gone to Kansas.
Yep, gone to Kansas, gone to other events, gone to other big races. Yep.
It's kind of almost like a pit crew, basically, right? But you're like a one-man show.
Right. So we'll use Unbound Gravel, as one of the, like, that's the key one I've been going to now. This will be year number 8 I'll be going. Is this 8 or 9? And I forget, I'm losing count.
It's been a while.
Yeah, Dave, message at the bottom, which one, I forget which one it is. But one of my best friends, Dave Collins, he lives out in Kansas. I met him here when he lived here for a time. And he pretty much, and with his group of friends through a group called Shamey Butter, I've kind of built up this relationship with all of them and helped them through this race. And what Unbound Gravel is a gravel road race, is a off-road road bike, and we'll cover that another day. I'm just giving Reader's Digest on this, but it started at its core years ago as, here's your checkpoints, you are self-supported, and it's a 200-mile challenge. Now it's turned into one of the biggest events in the world.
200 miles?
Oh, wait. No, I'm not even...
American?
Yeah, yep, American miles. So now this event has turned into, it's a 4-day event in Emporia, Kansas, and you can be as little as 25 miles to 50 miles to 100 miles, 200 miles, and now we got the XL. So the XL is a pretty much a 36-hour race, and it's 350 miles.
Is
But
this the Forrest Gump of like mountain biking, road
gravel,
biking,
so,
gravel
but
biking?
here's the thing: like, so the 200-mile guys, the 100-mile guys, and less, they get pretty much a Leroy. They meet them at checkpoints,
Right.
And hey, I broke this. I need this. Feed
Right.
me. Do this. Do that. That. The 350 guys, it's you. You're biking whatever you pack.
Oh boy.
Like,
So you gotta have like a multi-tool on you or something
you
like
are
that.
like, we'll have to talk about it and bring it up.
Yeah.
But like what these guys have to pack and bring,
Yeah.
like you can't like, hey Leroy, I got a flat tire. I'm at mile marker 72.
Too bad, buddy.
You done?
Yeah.
You're getting picked up.
All right. Well, let's jump into the side that you do.
Yeah.
Right. So you do this. So when
So
when your team calls
Right.
you.
right. So for Unbound, so they are the current format is they take off at 6 a.m. from Emporia, Kansas. I don't see them again to mile marker 70-ish in some little town in Kansas. And at that checkpoint, it's feed, water, maintenance, pampering, coaching, encouragement, cleanup, relube. I mean, there's been situations where
So you're not just the bikes. You're like with the team as well.
You're
and
doing
everything
great.
else.
You guys got.
What if they're not doing great?
Oh, I've had those moments. Where
you got to kick somebody in the hiney kind of thing.
It's more the Tony Robbins beats, Hulk Hogan. You got this. You got to get no. But yeah, really kind of pushing people along. Yeah, so it's
like
a tough
Gordon
challenge.
Ramsay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're not Bear Grylling this one all of a sudden. So, but then after they leave me at 70 miles into it, they only have a water oasis at like 100 and something miles into it. Pretty much, here's a big giant water bucket. You fill up your water bottles, whatever else. Okay. No help, no assistance.
Like a deer feeder style?
Pretty much in that. Oh no, this is giant. It's like the world's largest 5-gallon drum with
pipes. You have a camera set up on that?
There's video.
There's aliens watching that.
Yeah,
just
probably.
Like, yes, fill your water, fill.
Exactly. And
keep riding.
And then they don't see me again until mile marker about 150. And then,
good Lord.
Right. And then
so it's an 80 mile, like the next.
Pretty
next
much.
stretch.
It's almost like a 70
so
to 80.
70, then 80.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and trust me, when they're getting to that last checkpoint in the past couple of years,
so then the last punch is like 50 miles, and that's like a punch of a race.
But really,
for the 200 guys.
Yeah, for those 200 guys, because it really is a giant punch. Because usually the way Kansas works, this is them coming back into the headwinds in that late part of the afternoon, so the headwinds are getting kind of rough.
Does that affect you a lot?
Oh yeah,
it's
because more so in this platform because there's no trees, there's no shade, there's not a lot of stuff to hide from.
Yeah.
So like we're used to here having a lot of like tree lined areas, palm tree, what we have in Florida. There's nothing. It's the rolling hills, the Flint.
I know these bikes don't weigh anything hardly. Right. So like getting blown over.
Oh, it's like so. There's a lot of stuff like the height of your wheels, like aerodynamics. Like they're great if you get the wind behind you in front of you. You get crosswinds, then you're fighting against.
Is this also kind of? I mean, it can't be like Tour de France where they have like roads closed down and stuff like that.
They do actually. So with these really big events, they have that much support. Like Emporia, Kansas, love you guys.
That big.
Like they shut down the city.
Yeah.
Like the main strip.
Well, and I know because disc golf is actually huge in Emporia as well. Same town. There's a massive DDO now, Dynamic Disc Open. It used to be
GBO, glass blow.
Yeah, glass blown open. And I know like they have banners and everything. Welcome disc golfers because it's a I've never actually been there, but it's a fairly small town.
Oh,
right?
it's like Lakeland size. So
so actually pretty sizable then.
Pretty sizable. But for a bicycle event, you have 3,000 participants for the weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they literally turn the back streets into vendor areas. You got this bike brand and this vendor selling this or this new nutritional thing or that side. So it's a huge thing, and I get that honor to get tapped in the shoulder that these guys trust me.
Right.
Because that's a huge task. Like.
Well, I mean, you've been building this up now to the point where, I mean, you kind of alluded to it already, but like you're going to Iceland now for doing something similar same thing, right?
Similar idea.
Different race, but
different
same support system, mechanic works, you show up, you are the one-man show.
Yep.
All right. Very quickly, how good are you at what you do? Like, this is the time to toot your own horn.
I'm
it's our podcast.
It is our podcast.
They can't tell us to stop. They can, but
I'm really good. It comes with a lot of experience. Like, like my key thing, and my wife will probably punch me in the arm for watching this podcast, but pivoting. Like, I can pivot faster. Pivot. Yep. So just because, like, you have these situations that you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You know, you have
to quick on your feet.
Quick on my feet that way. I know, like, growing up, and that you'll hear that, I grew up dyslexic as a child, so like my memory and what I absorb into my brain, like knowing what to do that quick and just going back in my database and figuring out how all that stuff works. Like,
the things that stick in your mind seem useless to other people, but for you,
exactly. So it's one of those big key things that I think why people trust me so much with their bikes, and maybe it even is down to like some of the small things like, hey, Leroy, you sold me this bike. Yeah, I remember selling that bike when I worked at the other shop, and I remember the parts, and I remember all this stuff. It's just, I'm not going to call myself special because I do that, but I feel that makes people feel more confident in what my abilities are. Yeah. So
you can switch gears.
Right. And
pun intended.
So, but like we've had that situation one time with Dave. We routed Kansas, and it started raining before we got to the event that morning. It hadn't rained in days. Dave somehow in like 7-8 miles before the first checkpoint literally ripped the rear derailleur, which is the thing that changes gear in the back, off his bike, was able to rig it back on and only use a couple gears, get it to me after riding that way for like 50 miles. Yeah. And I literally rebuilt the cabling system on the bicycle, run it through the frame, run a new piece of housing, run a new chain, run a new derailleur, rebuilt the bike back for him pretty much in less than 10 minutes and had him back out. And he finished within the top 100 out of 1,800 riders, 1,500 riders that year.
That's crazy.
So,
So you're good.
Yeah, well, I don't like tooting my, like, I know I can make mistakes. That's why I have that.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Right. But, and I think that's why, like, I know one of the topics is, like, well, why do you trust a bike shop? Like, why, when it comes to certain things, like, why should you go to a LBS or local bike shop?
I was going to say, that'll actually segue, because we're going to be running out of time pretty soon here, but that'll actually segue into kind of a good portion, I think, for the show. You'd kind of brought it up, but why should people, because you're the owner of Leroy's Bike Works, y'all do a lot of maintenance, you build bikes, you put stuff together, you do all this stuff, you got people that race and everything else. Why should people actually go to a bike specific shop versus, just getting a bike from Walmart? I mean, obviously quality of bike, so, from Walmart.
So I'm one of those guys, I'm never going to, like, if you walk in the door, I'm not going to come in here and go, well, you bought that bike at Walmart, Target.
If I went to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Right, yeah. Well,
they sell bikes and stuff like that.
But the different, so, because we know at a bike shop we're at this tier of pricing, so just give you a hypothetical, like the entry-level mountain bike's like $500, $400 here. And we know
in your shop.
In our shop, yeah.
And that's kind of average across the board.
Yeah, in most shops, depending on the brands.
For bike specific.
Right. So if I want to say every shop, LBS bike shop, it's between $400 to $600 for average start-off price point. So, but at department stores, big box guys, they're going to be several $100s cheaper.
Right.
That's not a horrible idea for someone that doesn't know what they're getting into. My biggest thing that I tell customers, if you walked into that place and got that bike, one thing I would say, contact your local bike shop, be it me, be it anyone else in this community.
Everybody's going to be competent for anybody.
Right, but bring that bike and have it expected, because there's no, how did that guy...
Right, these are kids that are putting bicycles together that don't care.
The guy from the garden department in most cases, or was selling guns at one big brand store and now is building bicycles for the holidays or whatever. You want to make sure that bike is safe, because that's honestly 90% of the issues with department store bikes is that it was not assembled correctly. Because I can pull out this bike out of this box and another bike out of the box. They look almost identically strapped up and ready to go. But you still have to adjust the gears, adjust the brakes, check the tension, do all this other stuff down these little checklists that we do here on any bike, being it $400 or $15,000. So I would always suggest any customer, if you didn't buy it from a bike shop, you bought from big box, bring it to a shop, build that rapport, but any shop that tells you made a bad purchase, that's a bad shop.
Right.
You want to have that shop that goes, hey, this is going to be getting your feet wet. This is not going to get you into
Yeah, because somebody that goes and buys a bike from the big box store, they're not trying to go do races.
Right. They just want to get into
They want to be able to ride, maybe ride a bike just for exercise, to get around for a lot of people.
For commuting or something like that.
Right.
But what makes, Shimano, we all know, is the main key brand that we see on a lot of stuff. But Shimano makes multiple different levels. And some of that stuff that you find on department store bikes is not what you see at a bike shop level.
Right.
So, but it really...
Which I think people get that confused.
Right. Yeah, they do. So, but a mountain bike at a department store, and we'll cover that, like, to see what's out at Carter Road.
Right.
Those bikes are not designed to take that type of stuff.
Right.
So, could you ride some of it out there? Absolutely. Can you ride all of it out there? Not at all. So, but this is them getting their feet wet.
You can't ride it all out there and your bike stay together.
Correct. Yeah. So
you can definitely do it.
Right. But
with the power of will.
Will, right. So the important factor, that I'm trying to get on my topic with this one is, build that rapport with that shop, because you're going to have that shop in your pocket when you need that help.
Well, and if it's a reputable shop, they're going to try to steer you the right direction for the bike that you have and what you need to be doing with that bike and everything else. Okay.
So, I've been doing this for like 25 years, so, I try to smooth it for customers like, hey, you're going the right direction with this. Let's keep you going for a year.
Right.
And then let's talk about it after a year and see where we need to go after.
Right, because if somebody's if they've bought the bike, they've already bought the bike.
Right, they're already into it. They're already into it. We can't go backwards, but we can go forward.
And like you said, if they make fun of you for the bike that you bought or whatever else, you should probably try to find somebody else.
Find a different shop,
and that's fair. And I would say that's the case for a lot of places, right? And just in life in general. Yeah, not just the biking world, not just the disc golfing world.
Right.
Just
a lot of things. That's a big benefit of having that touch and feel. Like even with us with disc golf, like being a disc golf store, having staff to understand what the flight numbers are and everything else, you're going to sell more confidently to your consumer walking in, because you know what you're putting in their hands. Right. Same thing in the
if you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to a bike, somebody comes in and they know more than you, that becomes a problem.
Absolutely. Yep.
We're going to rapid fire some do's and don'ts.
Sure. Yep.
And I'm going to just come up with these questions in my head real fast.
Oh.
So this could get real interesting.
All right. I like that.
Real fast.
Yeah. You have like a little topic thing fall down above his head.
Safety gear.
Oh, helmet definitely.
Yeah.
Most important thing, get it fitted. Make sure it works properly. Because every bike helmet has to meet a certain safety standard, yes, but fitting
it. OSHA's going to come after you?
Consumer Safety Product Commission.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah.
Government OSHA.
Yeah. I've met those guys before. Yeah, that's a fun story. But back to, a helmet's a big thing.
Yeah.
In the mountain biking world, gloves do help out. So, biggest thing, helmet, gloves, proper fitted bicycle.
Yeah.
That's going to be another key thing with that one too. Getting the proper fitted way so you're not too big or too small. Yeah, we'll cover that. Because bikes at a bicycle shop come in different sizes.
Right. So. Okay. Lights, no lights?
State law here in the state of Florida, you are mandatory to have front and rear lights on your bicycle.
Is that even on like gravel roads and stuff? Even if you don't ride on the road?
Well, yes. I mean, all right. Leroy common sense. If I'm riding my road bike out on the roads in daytime, I have lights on.
Right.
I want to be seen.
Yeah.
I know we all have these devices in our hands nowadays, but I want to be seen as much as possible. State law requires you from dusk to dawn.
Yeah.
You got to have lights on your bicycles.
Yeah.
So just something flashing.
I'm fairly certain we're going to go a little over on this episode. You're going to have to calm down, PJ.
Or the battery dies.
That's right. Your camera sucks.
It's a 30-minute time limit.
So, lights are required, but just for safety for you to be seen. But there are lights that are designed to help you light up the roads or light up the trails to help you see.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So apparently I interrupted one too many times, so we're going to have to do a two-parter. That's not Leroy's fault. That's definitely my fault. You ask stupid questions, stupid things happen. PJ's fault, mostly. I'm pretty sure as long as he doesn't edit it out, there's actually a question that he asked, and it put us over time. So if you don't want to watch both episodes, it's his fault. If you do, it's because Leroy had a lot of great things to say.
I appreciate it. Thank
and
you.
I asked all the important questions. You got anything, Dan?
To add to it?
What I just said?
Oh, no, I thought we did a phenomenal job. You did a great off-the-cuff asking questions.
Listen, that rapid fire, that was pretty decent.
Yeah,
right?
we're going to have like a little like checkpoints every time you ask a question. Just like, how many did he get above his head?
Well, and you have a segment in there that you talked about, one of your things in the working as a pit crew person, solo pit crew is, off the cuff, and I feel like you did that, and I mean, I'm the same way as far as...
Off the cuff?
Yeah, just in life in general. So, I think we're good on that. Make sure you wear your helmets, kids.
Yep. Be
Deuces!
safe. See you guys.
Why are we recording this? All right.
This is good
We haven't started.